Donald Trump is adding to his electoral vote total. Michigan certified him Monday as the state's winner in the presidential election. The final electoral vote total, Trump 306, Clinton 232. But Green Party candidate Jill Stein says she may request a recount in Michigan, as she already has in Pennsylvania and in Wisconsin. Hillary Clinton's campaign is joining the recount effort in Wisconsin, and she's under fire from Trump and his top aides, who spent Monday blasting that recount effort. Trump said a series of tweets Sunday, writing nothing will change from the recount efforts, and without citing evidence, he suggested that millions of people voted illegally. Gabriel DeBenedetti is a political reporter with Politico. He's with us from Arlington, Virginia. Thank you so much, Gabe, for being with us. We appreciate it. I want to look at these statewide recounts since 2000. If we break down the numbers here, there have been 27. But out of that, just 3 changed that state's outcome, and the average change was just 282 votes. Trump's lead in these 3 states is more than 10,000 votes. So what does Hillary Clinton actually get out of this?
Though that's a good question. Basically, what the Clinton campaign wants at this point is just some sense of legitimacy of these results, and that's because there have been some concerns about the legitimacy of these elections. Let's be quite clear, though, this is a Jill Stein operation, not a Hillary Clinton operation. Her campaign has been very clear that they do not expect any of the results to change. They're just signing on because since Clinton would be the one who would be mostly affected by any switch in the results, they want to make sure this is all going exactly according to the procedures. But they do not expect to see any real change at this point.
So I think it's kind of interesting here, a lot of people talking about it, that Trump blasted the recount efforts again on Twitter. But then he also introduced the possibility that millions of people voted illegally. He seems to have taken this from a conservative website that's part of a lot of conspiracy theories. What do you make about this point?
Well, clearly what he's trying to do is just throw into question the legitimacy of all of it. But a lot of the Clinton allies that I've spoken with recently are basically saying, hang on, you're saying that the election that you won was illegitimate? So it's a bit of a puzzling claim overall, really. I mean, there hasn't been any real evidence to show that these millions of votes had been stolen or done illegally. So it's a bit of a puzzler. But, you know, what we think he's trying to do is add a level of uncertainty to the conversations about what's going on in these in the recounts.
Trump does seem to have softened a little bit on some of his campaign promises. But on Monday, he tweeted, if Cuba is unwilling to make a better deal for the Cuban people, the Cuban American people, and the U.S. as a whole, I will terminate the deal. Do you think Trump is getting more aggressive after being criticized for walking back some of his pledges, or what's happening?
That's certainly part of it. We also know that he was in South Florida when this all went down, and that's obviously a place that feels very strongly about Cuba and about Fidel Castro, who passed away. So what I think we're seeing is him being influenced by his surroundings. He clearly was reacting to what we saw in the moment, and that's where we are now. That's
a good point. Very interesting. Trump is meeting Tuesday now with Mitt Romney and Senator Bob Corker, considered 2 top picks here for Secretary of State. But Trump's former campaign manager has been publicly blasting Romney. Here's a snippet of some of her comments on Sunday.
People feel betrayed to think that Governor Romney, who went out of his way to question the character and the intellect and the integrity of Donald Trump, now our president-elect, would be given the most significant cabinet post of all, Secretary of State. This is Trump's party now, and he won states that Mitt Romney lost. He's the one with the political instincts, the brilliance. We're all for party unity. I don't think a cost of admission for party unity has to be the Secretary of State position.
There's been a lot of talk of what's maybe going on behind the scenes, but do you think Kellyanne Conway's lobbying her boss, or what's going on?
Yeah, we've seen this over and over during the actual campaign itself. Top Trump aides would try and get out and either communicate with their boss on TV or try and communicate with the base, who knows that they're trying to send signals. So this could be either one. This could be Conway saying, Mr. Trump, we really don't think you should be hiring Mitt Romney, or it could be her trying to put out feelers to her base who are watching her on TV to try and see what exactly their reaction is, because this is clearly a campaign that paid attention to what its voters were thinking.
What has the reaction been?
There's been a bit of a mixed bag. A lot of the Republican establishment folks would love to see Mitt Romney in this position. But exactly as Kellyanne Conway said, there's been quite a few people who were tried and true Trump supporters from the beginning who were really leaning towards someone like Rudy Giuliani, someone who was really a Trump loyalist. Question, of course, is whether they'd prefer to have someone who's a loyalist or someone who would be, let's say, internationally respected. So there are a lot of different factors in on this one, but it's going to be a bit messy as we get closer and closer to Decision Day.
Gabriel DeBenedetti, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.